everybody, welcome back to the channel. More French commanders here as we work our way through the remaining ones for our series here for Blood and Plunder. So today we're coming off some of the recent heavy hitters like Laurens de Graaf and Francois Lolonais, going with one of the cheaper ones, relatively cheaper ones here. But let's see if he stacks up. So we got Henri-Louis De Chavagnac, 25-pointer, historic commander. Here we can lead the French Royal Navy. Sorry about the glare, guys. There we go. We can lead the French Royal Navy or the French Army. So we're still paying 25 points, which is, of course, a big investment compared to some of just the generic commanders. But what are we getting here, right? We're getting an 8-inch command range, so that's definitely on the short side, especially compared to some of the high-end characters that we have there. So we're going to have a much smaller overall command bubble. We do still get the 2 command points, and we get the brace of pistols and standard melee weapon as well. But for the 25 points and the sort of a little bit lower values here compared to some of the high-end guys, we do still get 4 special rules. So that's actually a pretty good deal, all things considered. So let's jump in. Again, I think on these we've basically had most of these before, except for Tactician I don't think we've seen yet. So let's see what that brings here. But again, overall just another good package of abilities. So all friendly units, inspiring, right? Starting off with that. All friendly units within his command range can reroll any failed rally tests when his unit is active, right? So if we're doling out some command points for rally attempts here, we're going to get that free reroll on that, which is great. We don't have to burn fortune. But again, we're going to be hampered a little bit by the 8-inch command range. Now that is a little bit easier to do on ships, of course, with the way that the distances between decks and stuff work out. But if we're going to be battling on land, essentially, with him, or maybe like the amphibious games where we're venturing off the ship and getting onto land, that 8-inch command range is definitely going to pinch us a little bit. But nonetheless, definitely good for naval engagements, which is where his bread and butter is really going to be a little bit more with his rules here. Broadside as well, certainly tying in more to the ship games. But again, we've seen that quite a bit across many commanders. But again, all artillery fired during his activation are fired simultaneously. So it's all the same shot, and that's there to just go fishing for crits, right? We want to cause those extra fun pieces of damage to the opposing ships, like maybe blowing off a mast, causing fires, leaks, etc., right? Or hunting for that that elusive one shot as well. So always good to have that, but again, more relevant for ship commanders. We're going to skip Tactician just for a second, come back to that, because again, we've had Commodore a few times, so let's take a look at that. So when he's aboard a ship, his command range is actually increased to 12 when giving actions to units on other ships, right? So yeah, so within the same ship, right, the way the decking works out with the 4-inch sections, that's not so bad for that 8-inch command range, although on some of the larger vessels might be a bit iffy depending on placement. But if we're going to play some bigger games and maybe have even a few ships, this does let us stay relatively, or have a little bit of distance actually between the ships without having to necessarily be really right on top of each other and worrying about things like the wind and maybe collisions and other stuff like that, and lets us maneuver a little bit more while keeping another friendly ship close. So 12 inches to another ship, that gives us a decent amount of real estate. So Commodore is always good. Obviously, of course, if his command range were just better to begin with, that would make Commodore even better potentially. So then Tactician, getting into this one. So when a player draws their hand of cards at the beginning of their turn, they may discard and redraw a single card in their hand. This cannot be done if the commander has been removed as a casualty or if the commander's unit is shaken. So now the way it reads, it does say like whenever a player, so I wonder if this has been fact. We'll have to double check here, but I would hope that this doesn't, give the opponent the ability to do that. But it should say, I think, when you draw your hand, right, or at least the player or a player being you in this case. But basically, getting to swap out a single card is crucial at different points. And if we have a hand where we're already questioning maybe keeping it, this could be the deal, or make or break the deal where if we can just use this ability, maybe get that one card to sort of get some of the activations and numbers that we want on the card, rather than burning a whole fortune point to get that new hand. This is pretty key here. Obviously, it only makes sense as long as the commander's alive, so that's kind of a no-brainer there. But it does kind of give us sort of a soft filter on our cards if we want to, and that way we can save those fortune points for some more impactful moments. Now, if the whole hand is absolute crap and it just really is not going to be a good turn, might still need to burn that fortune point, but this definitely gives us some nice filtering throughout the game. So all in all, for 25 points, we're getting a pretty good package here. Obviously, he's going to be geared towards naval engagements, and I think he's going to be just fine with that. A little weaker, I'd say, on land, of course, but inspiring is still great, and tactician is relevant regardless of how we're playing. So broadsword could, I guess, at some point, or not broadsword, broadside could happen potentially if we had like multiple cannons on land. But again, two of the abilities are definitely more geared towards naval combat. So, and he's definitely a fine one there. Let us know, guys, if you've played some games with him or found yourself on the other side of Henri-Louis, and how that's gone, and what size points have you typically fielded him in, but also, have you, let's see if we get that to properly focus. There we go. Have you fielded him in the French Royal Navy or the French Army? Let us know, and we'll go from there. We got plenty more coming for you here for Blood and Plunder. Thanks so much for watching.